Yo, what up guys? Welcome to Feedback Friday. Sorry it's been a while, been on the road, been catching up from being on the road, but now we're back in the flow of things. Today we're going to be taking a look at a video shot by David Murray. It's a wedding video shot on the Canon 80D, a Sigma 24-70, and a monopod. He asked me, how do you handle exposure with harsh lighting conditions, with the highlights and shadows? And then he also asked me, I charged $700 for this highlight wedding film. Would you say that this is a good price, or could I charge more? So let's check it out. Here we go.
There is two types of love that you'll face when you go down through life. The love that we...
First off, David, I'm gonna say we could probably just go with one of these two shots. Giving us a close-up of this, I don't think adds a whole lot to our viewing experience. We got a good idea of what we were seeing in this first shot, so I'd say just pick one of those two shots.
Love that you'll face when you go down through life. The love that we like for us to look at today is a love that, regardless of what men may do or say, what happens...
That's a little distracting to me. Going to a black screen here to put the title on. I would be creative with that and see what shot you could fit that title into. Instead of cutting to a black screen, find a good shot that works well with the title, that you can see the title well, and just put the title on top of the video.
Happens in life, you'll still love one another. Now there's a conditional love. That love is, I'll love you as long as you do what I tell you. But the true love that we read to you today is something that will live on in your hearts and in your mind.
I like the voiceover in the background, add some good engagement. So here's one shot already where we're seeing some of the highlight and shadow issues. This is direct sunlight. White dresses are just tough in direct sunlight because they're so bright. I would recommend underexposing rather than overexposing if you have the two options. In other words, stop down more than you think you'll need to preserve those highlights, because it's a lot easier with DSLR footage to lift the shadows up in post versus trying to bring the highlights down. You can't recover highlights as well as you can preserve details and shadows. So when in doubt, underexpose a little bit, and that'll help you kind of maintain more of those highlights, especially in dresses like this. Again, we have two shots of the sign here. I think just one gives us the idea of what we're looking at. Again, with highlights here, we have a white shirt, white tie, light skin, and they're all overblown. They're all overexposed and blown out. So same thing here, you're just overexposed. It's not necessarily that it's really hard lighting conditions, it's just that you're overexposed. So the biggest thing throughout a lot of these shots is just stop down a little bit more than you think you're going to need to preserve those highlights. It might crush some of these shadows like this, but those are the only shadows that would probably be crushed in this, and you're much less worried about keeping detail underneath his jacket than you are in everything else. So always expose better for whatever your main subject is, and in this case, it's his hands and his tie. Those are more important to be exposed correctly, so just stop down overall.
I guess everybody kind of asks me, always if I'm nervous or anything like that. I don't know what there is to be nervous about, because I know that she's the one that God put that there for me to love forever, and that's just the only thing I'm feeling is excited. I can't wait to start everything out with her.
I like all the added audio to help tell the story. building some good anticipation for what hopefully is a good climax. There's another shot that's super overexposed. Don't focus so much on exposing for this side of the face unless that's the only side you're seeing. If you have the sun in the background, then yeah, expose for the face. But when you have half of them lit up by the sun, you gotta expose for the sun. So that's why I try and put the sun directly behind my subjects so that there's not a part of them that's being completely lit by the sun, which would then overexpose them. So it's one, positioning where you're at, putting the sun behind your subjects, or positioning them to where you want them so that you can put the sun behind them. But if you can't do that, then you got to expose for the sun so you don't have blown out highlights like that.
As much then as you, Clint and Charlie, have consented together in holy wedlock, I pronounce you husband and wife. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
Again, good use of audio with B-roll. That's kind of an awkward cut right there to this cross. Even the cut here,
What God has joined together,
I don't really even know what they're doing.
let no man put asunder.
I think it's fine to have B-roll, but it's got to be in context. I think a better shot there would have been them loving on each other, hugging, kissing, because they're talking about their, covenant they're about to make with each other in love, eternal love. And then we're cutting to them putting some kind of food on a picture, or probably food behind it, I don't know. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. For context reasons, be careful with the B-roll you use. We can see the cross behind them, so cutting to a B-roll shot of the cross I don't think is necessary. We get the idea where they're at, that it's a Christian wedding. So that doesn't add to the story. It's actually distracting if it doesn't add. So this shot's better exposed. You see how the sun's behind them, so we don't have any part of their face being directly lit as far as where the camera's positioned. This image looks a little cool to me throughout. There's some color balance issues. Some shots indoors are a little too warm. Some of these shots outdoors are a little bit too cool. So just be careful of that as well, making sure that your color balance looks similar throughout. With DSLR footage, because it's not raw, you can't manipulate that a ton in post. You can a little bit, but just be careful that you shoot it as close as possible in camera. Awesome shot right there.
Have and hold from this day forward. I, Clint, take thee, Charlie, to be my wedded wife.
I don't know about that cut though. I think we could do without the jump cut there.
In sickness